Let's build a stomper. Come on, lads. Hello everybody, and welcome to the premiere of my new series, Let's Build a Stomper. You guys, from the video that I put out saying, I might do it, I got loads of positive results, loads of positive feedback, loads of thumbs up. So guys, as you requested, I'm going to go forward with the series. So what I'm going to be doing in this series, I'm essentially going to be building a stomper from the ground up, and you guys are going to follow along with me. You guys are going to see exactly how I build stuff. You guys are going to see my thought process. I'm going to kind of describe it, and also to make it so that it's not mega boring, and so that the episodes aren't like 3 hours long, I'm going to speed everything up in fast motion. So yeah, guys, without further ado, let's crack on. Okie dokie, guys, so what are we looking at right now? Well, what we're looking at is the baseline construction of how I'm going to build the stomper body. As you guys can see, I'm using the actually using the Pro Sound mic box that my nice shiny new mic came in, because it was just roughly the same size as stomper, and I didn't want it to be too massive, because if you make it too massive, then it becomes, you know, really tasking in finding materials and stuff to cover it in. So what are you guys looking at now? You guys are looking at me basically marking out where I'm going to cut the stomper, because I really wanted to avoid it being just a box with legs, because obviously that would look rather amateur. So what I'm kind of doing, I'm cutting the corners off it just to make it having a bit more of a rounded stomach. The general design for the stomper, it's going to be a classic stomper design. So it's going to have big fat body, little stumpy legs, and it's going to have like underslung arms and then a head on top. So nothing mega fancy. If I decide to do another one of these, I'll probably try and do some variations on this design, but for now we're just going to be looking at the basic kind of format template of a stomper. So guys, cutting it out, essentially marking it all off, using a steel ruler and whatnot, because I tried using a plastic ruler to first of all, I ended up gouging massive chunks out of it. This is all sped up in fast motion, of course, so you guys don't get bored and things like that. Whilst I'm cutting things out, what else should I talk about? Oh yeah, general design. So obviously big fat body. I'm going to go with a classic belly cannon, I think, with this. However, guys, what I might do at the end of episodes, when I get to the more juicy stuff like the weapons and features of the stomper, I'm going to put up options at the end of the video, and you guys get to vote on what I should do. So it's going to kind of be like a bit interactive, this series as well. So I'll take advice, information, any suggestions you guys have. And I'll look at it and see if I can work it into the stomper. Now, what you can see here, the front of the box, I didn't plan this out very well. It kind of like fell out, and this is me struggling to kind of work out how this little bit went back together. I got rather confused with this little section. I was like, what the fuck? Why won't it go back? God fucking damn it! There we go. That's sorted it. In case you guys are wondering why I have got a sheet of plastic card there, that will all become evident in a minute. But for now, I'm going to talk about the kind of glue that I use. I tend to use Vital Bond. Oh, my face popped into the shot there, so I had to cover it up. I use Vital Bond CA Medium, which is the yellow label Vital Bond, which is the best super glue that you can get for decent money. You guys might be wondering as well why I'm cutting out plastic card, and you're like, what if we got you just sticking stuff to the box and, you know, make it faster? Well, the thing is, I'm really anal about just gluing onto cardboard. Number one, because it's fragile. Number two, because it can rip. And number three, I just like having a nice clean surface to work on. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of covering the Pro Sound box now. I've cut the corners off it with nice layers of plastic card. So we've got essentially more. I know I say essentially and basically a lot, by the way, guys. Thank you, Mr. Pidge, for pointing that out on the last video that I put up. So yeah, guys, nice flat, smooth surface to work on, and also a nice surface for me to stick stuff to as well. Yeah, a bit of annoying cutting out. I was never really any good at cutting out as a child, so yeah, this is a bit of a tricky thing for me, and there's lots of gaps and stuff. I'm actually holding the main part of the body in my hands right now, and there's loads of gaps and things like that, which, you know, will get covered up with bits and, you know, chunks of plastic card and stuff later. But for now, it'll do just fine. Yeah, so what I essentially have to do, I have to mark it all out roughly before I start cutting it, because, you know, I'm working with limited resources. Again, when I try and do scratch builds, I try and do them the cheapest way possible. but also the best way to maximise money. Essentially, I bought, fuck's sake, I keep saying essentially, god damn it, I can't get out of that rut of saying that frickin' word. So what I do, I buy big bulk sheets of plastic card off of eBay. I might pop a link in the description to get the plastic card from, and it's actually really, really good. It was a tenner for, I think, like 8 different sheets of plastic card, and it sure as hell beats going to Hobbycraft and paying £8 for a sheet. In the UK anyway, it's a fucking ball ache to try and get plastic card, so I always have to get it online. Just marking it out basically. I don't really know what more I can say. It's just boring cutting. Using a steel ruler and a really dull blade. I need to get some new scalpel blades as well, that reminds me. I don't really know what more I can talk about. I'm gluing it down with super glue, but just because it dries quickly. I was going to use a hot glue gun, or maybe even PVA, but if I'd use PVA, it would take so goddamn long to actually stick it to it. Also, hot glue gun is okay, but I just can't be arsed working with hot glue. It's messy, and it doesn't always dry flat, and super glue has a nice viscosity, so it sticks it well and truly flat down. Now what you can see here, guys, I'm actually trimming the edges because, as I said before, as I previously stated, I'm quite shit at cutting out. So I had loads of overlapping bits and I had to kind of shave it down with a scalpel blade. I'm cutting towards myself here, which is something you should never do, because you can slip and stab yourself, which I've done many, many times. Always cut away, guys. Don't follow my example, because I'm an idiot. Not really much more to say on this subject. It's about halfway through the video. I'm kind of watching this playthrough on my editing software as I'm recording, so that's why there's kind of like there's little gaps and stuff like that. Guys, I will pipe up again when there's something else to talk about. I might put a little bit of tunage in the background, so you guys aren't bored with silence, the deathly silence. Or I might just keep talking. I could ramble on a little bit. It's quite a nice day today, actually. It's rather sunny, rather warm. Dog's out in the garden, having a fun time, chasing his ball around. Oh no, okay, here's something else to talk about, guys. Because it's raised up on either edges, this was a bit tricky because I couldn't properly put it down and mark it out because I couldn't get my hand underneath it to get an accurate kind of edge, so I'm having to place it on top of the raised bit to cut it out, and it's taking a little bit of time because I'm trying to get it right. Now, when you're doing kind of like blind cutting like this, less is always the best way to go because you don't want to end up cutting too much off, and then you've got a useless bit of plastic card, and all you have to make patches and stuff for it. So kind of just going along. There we go. It's stuck down now, so that's kind of fine. Now, the next bit that I'm going to be doing, because obviously, again, even more difficult is these gaps that you see. So what I'm doing, I will start in a second to actually, a bit of procrastination here, a bit of messing about on the old YouTubes, by the looks of it. No, I wish I should have really cut that out, but oh well, we'll just roll with it. Right, okay, so having a bit of a think. So now what I'm kind of doing, I'm kind of trying to gauge how... Oh, I have a text message. Oh, it's from Jacob Gaffara, who did me the start graphic. So yeah, guys, I'm cutting over the actual how am I going to say this? The actual gaps I'm cutting over because obviously you can't stick edge to edge because it'll just have no structural integrity. So I'm cutting over slightly so I can overlap it, make a score line in it, bend the plastic card, and then stick it to it so it's nice and rigid, nice and solid to work on. Structural integrity was kind of key to this project because when you're working with something... Oh, I've got something in my mouth. Fuck's that? Oh, it's a bit of toast. But yeah, so when you're trying to work with such large objects, some large expanses, you want to make it as rigid as possible because when you come to cut into it or come to make alterations, if it's too rigid, it'll just pop in and then you open up a can of worms and you've got to faff about trying to re-glue stuff, and it's just really generally annoying. And you can see there again, more shaving off the edges because I'm shit at cutting out. So yeah, my face does keep popping into this episode quite a bit, mainly because it's really difficult to actually get a camera angle so you guys can see and I can actually work comfortably. And that's why now the graphic keeps popping up just to cover bits of my face. I know that a little edge of my face, bit of a hairline might pop into the shot every now and again, but that's not enough to give away my identity. Although, guys, if you're going to Grumpy Old Wargamers, you'll probably see me without my mask for a fairly large portion of the time, mainly because it's hot as fuck in that mask. So yeah, guys, don't really know much more to talk about. Yeah. Ramble. Maybe I should like do some other stuff whilst I'm talking, but then I might miss bits out. I don't know. I just don't know. See, when I think about stuff, guys, my thought process kind of goes all over the place. I tend to think along a lot of tangents, and my mind kind of goes AWOL unless I'm focused on something. So yeah, I kind of like a blank space at the moment, but we've only got we've got about a minute or so left, so I'm just going to keep rambling. So yeah, what to talk about, guys? Oh yeah, the Oathsworn Dwarf project has reached like $5,000 or over $5,000 now, so that guy's well and truly funded for that. I really can't wait to do a review on those miniatures when I get him. I can't believe I'm going to be getting 10 awesomely sculpted dwarf miniatures for like freaking 30 odd quid to beat that Games Workshop, you bastards. Right, okay, in a second, basically, as I'm doing this now, I've been doing this for a good hour and a bit, and, you know, occasionally I do get bored, so the next little bit of a section will be something a little bit different. I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and break it up, just so you guys aren't looking at the one continuous thing for a long period of time. So yeah, guys, I'm going to get ready to cue the next bit of footage up. Okay guys, so now what are you looking at? Well, I decided I wanted a change of pace from sitting at my desk and building the construction of the body, so I decided to go down to the garage and start hacking off some PVC pipe to use for the bits that are going to connect the feet to the body. My mum's there bloody milling about the kitchen, not the kitchen, the garage, just picking up bits off the floor, and I think she's actually, yeah, she's trying to find me some sandpaper, because, again, one thing that I'm not very good at, even though I'm using a honking great big saw, I'm not very good at cutting in a straight line, even when it comes to stuff like that. So what I'm having to do, I'm having to sand the edges down to essentially, I keep saying essentially, to make it a bit smoother, and my face does pop into the shot in a second, but you can't see much of it, so it's all okay, it's all good. Yeah. Hacking that PVC pipe, you know, not pretty easy job really. Now, one of the issues that you have with PVC piping is the fact that it doesn't melt with poly cement, so you can't actually glue it to plastic properly. You've got to use a lot of super glue to actually get that to bond. And in the next episode, I'm actually going to show the actually attaching of the feet to the stomper and how I actually plan on going about it. So yeah, just hacking off some PVC pipe. Got it roughly the same kind of size that I want. So yeah, that's all fine and dandy. That's all fine and dandy. Okie dokie, guys, so what are we looking at now? Well, we're just looking at how I'm going to construct the feet. Again, I'm using boxes, cardboard boxes. These again are going to be covered in plastic card to give them a bit more structural integrity. The size of the feet was crucial actually to the whole build process, because it's quite a big body, so you need quite wide feet, but you don't need the feet so wide and so long that they look like duck feet, because that would look silly. They need to look like nice stumpy stomper feet. So I'm trying to kind of cut the box where I want it, you know, how big I want the feet. Trying to measure, you know, exactly, you know, how they're going to go, what size, you know, in relation to the piece of PVC piping, as to not make them look stupid. So yeah, just cutting out this general box and measuring the process as I go along. As you can see, there's a couple of lines on there. That's because I'd made a few mistakes, had a few mishaps with the actual size. Trying to cut it with a saw didn't really work. Had to go and hack it through with a craft knife, because I wanted to try and keep a straight edge. And again, as said many times before, I'm shit at cutting in a straight line. So yeah, this little bit here. So those are the main size of the feet, and on with the next bit. Okay, guys. Now here we're covering. I was about to say essentially. Then, oh yes. Here we're covering the feet with the boxes for the feet with plasticard. Now I used a bit of a too thick marker pen there. Didn't really want to do that. Now the thing is, I'll just touch on marking stuff. For you, those of you guys that maybe want to try a scratch build, don't mark with too thick a marker pen. Try and get the finest kind of point of a pen that you can that you have, because otherwise you won't end up getting an accurate cut. The thinner it is, the more accurate you can cut. Because let's face it, you know, a Stanley knife for a scalpel blade is very thin. Therefore, if you put a thick line, you're not actually going to get it right in the middle or right on the edge. You're going to make mistakes. So yeah, covering this with the plasticard. I'm actually at this point wondering, because the box that I use is very flimsy, and the actual weight of the stomper on top of it might flex it too much. I might pop the plastic card off. So I'm actually pondering how I'm actually going to make them more structurally sound. And that will become evident in the next video, possibly even the next hobby tip. So yeah, kind of cutting bits out, you know, trying to make it right. And I actually, with the feet, where's a bit of foot? I actually managed to get it just through complete fluke, that they kind of overlapped in such a way that they actually did stick fairly well when I used a bit of super glue and poly cement on them. They kind of overlapped and interlocked, and I don't know how I managed to do that. I don't think I could probably do that if I even tried. So yeah, that's what's cracking at this moment in time. Oh, face came into the shot a bit more then. That was quite a bad face shot there. I'll definitely have to cover that up. Yeah, the cutting mat's taking a bit of a pounding. Although this cutting mat is a self-healing one, which means it will re-knit itself back together, which is quite interesting. You know, I wish I was made of that substance. If I cut myself, I could just knit myself back together. Well, I kind of am, but you know, it's flesh and polymer and whatever. I'm just rambling again. Ramble. So what you saw then, guys, I actually stuck the PVC piping to the box. Now, I'm also pondering at this point what I'm actually going to do, because I can't just leave it like a bit of PVC piping, because it needs some worky bits. And I was actually contemplating some piston kind of effects that I could use with some plastic rod that I got off of eBay. And you guys will see that come to fruition in a little bit. I've actually done this video at the end of the day, so the light is kind of fading at this point in time. It's not really that bright. I'll try and, in the future, to always try and film these videos in the middle of the day. In regards to the the frequency of these videos out, these videos, I can't promise that I'll do once a week. These videos will be out when I feel like putting them out, because it's a big project to undertake, and after you've done something, I mean, I've spent probably about 4 hours, 3 hours doing all this cutting out and stuff so far, and it does get a bit taxing on the old brain. You do suffer from a bit of burnout, so it might be like a week or two between episodes, depending on how I feel, because after all, you know, it's a hobby and I have other things to do as well. So I mean, at this point, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, this definitely looks feasible. Another hurdle I'm going to have to overcome is how I am going to do the arms. Whether or not I want to go for these, you know, the classic underslung arms, maybe with like a couple of turrets, maybe towers. I might even put some towers on there. That'd be quite cool. Some little constructs with some Gretchen hanging off them or in them, like with little fire holes shooting out. And that could be quite interesting. Some big cannons coming out the shoulder, like some kind of awesome transformer or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so I'll let you guys vote on that when I start to make them. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a Giga Shooter on here. I enjoyed making the Giga Shooter on my last Stomper, but, you know, at the end of the day, guys, this is going to be a community thing. This is going to be you guys get to choose what goes on with it. Now, what are you seeing now? Yes, you are seeing me improve the structural integrity of the main torso. Because I had a little bit of a fiddle with it, a little bit of a flex with it, and it was actually still pretty weak. And also, I didn't want the plastic card to pop off the sides. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of getting just random lengths of offcuts plastic card, scoring them down the middle and bending them. Now, when you score them, when you bend them, it actually leaves a little bit still stuck on. So it forms like a hinge, like a flap. And then you can glue that to a right angle. So that will then provide a bit more structural integrity, and it will get rid of some of the gaps as well. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be building up the sides, because again, I'm holding the actual body in my hand at the moment, and there is a lot of awful gaps. So they'll get sorted out at a later date. I might even just fill him in with some green stuff or something, make him look like welds. I don't know. It'll depend on how I feel on the day when I actually do it. The bottom of the stomper is going to be left remotely untouched because I don't actually know where I'm going to place the feet. I want to actually avoid having a really generic stance, a really static pose. I want it to look like it's kind of walking forwards, but then you face the issue of stability and how you're going to stabilize it. And I've already thought of how I'm going to stabilize it, but you guys will have to wait till the next episode to find that out. So pretty much finished the end of this episode. I've got just basically some little extra things to show you, little extra things to do as well, and then that'll be it. Okie dokie, guys. Now, what we're looking at me basically trying to add a little bit of detail to the feet, trying to add some worky bits in the form of pistons. So we're getting some lengths of plastic rod, and what we're actually doing, we're just inserting the rods into each other. Whoa, inserting rods. Hey guys, if you want to have nightmares, look up bondage or fetish sounding on Google, and yeah, tell me what you find. It's pretty nasty. But yeah, guys. So we're just trying to get the rough lengths of how we're gonna do this. I was gonna go for 3 on each side, but then I was like, no, actually, a bit too much. 2 at the front and 1 at the back is the thing. What I'm gonna do. I only do 2 at the front in this little clip. Also, it's never really covered how stompers move, whether it's like an oscillating movement, whether it's actually up down kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of like a mystery. So I was kind of going at it blind here as to how to do these little bits. But yeah, guys, this is pretty much the end of the episode now. So I would just actually like to ask you guys a few things. How's everyone okay with the length? Is 15 minutes roughly okay? The episodes might vary, but what do you guys want? Do you want longer episodes? Do you want shorter episodes? Do you like the format? Do you like me voiceovering my work, as I work and stuff like that? Please let me know in the comments. This is the pilot episode, and it'd be really good to get some good, solid feedback straight from the get-go. But yeah, guys, you guys, this is coming to the end, so you guys have to join in on the next episode of Let's Build a Stomper. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys again. Goodbye.